Hi, I'm Gepwin, and last week I did a little bit of a video on some of my Gamergate opinions, and I decided to focus mostly on the being paid off and not trusting the game media aspect. And I got a little bit of flack. I didn't get a lot of attention on the video, but I got a little bit of flack for not focusing on the more feminist issues that have come up with this. And namely that a lot of anti-feminist and misogynistic groups have kind of glammed onto this to try to say that women are destroying gaming in some nebulous and very ill-defined way. And I was trying to not talk about it in the last video because I wanted to be sure that I had my thoughts organized well enough and that I was able to address it and have a concrete opinion on what's going on with things. And actually interacting with some of the people and doing a little research, I think actually helped me come to a very big realization as far as myself and the gaming community in general and where I want to fit in with that. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And it's going to be a little bit more casual, even than the last one. I still haven't cemented some of the stuff on this. I just fairly upset with myself and some other things in general, just related to all this stuff. And there's a truck going by. There's always a truck going by. So before I say anything, I think a tiny bit of backstory would be useful. I'm not trying to say this to be pretentious or lend myself any extra credibility, just so that you can understand where I'm coming from. I grew up playing games. I was born in the late 80s, and while some of the game stuff hadn't quite hit its heyday, it was a huge part of everything. It was starting to move into the mainstream through the 90s, and we got a lot of the things that we remember as the best games of all time, and the 3D revolution and the home console boom and all those things during that period. So I grew up playing these things, and I really cared about them. Like a lot of people who got into this, I was not a popular kid in school. I never felt that accepted with a lot of things, and games helped me get through a lot of stuff. I was fairly depressed all the way through middle school through college, and games really helped get me through that. And I think that games are a really positive force. There's something that I've always loved. There's something that a lot of people always loved, and this community that grew up around it. Once the internet started taking off and people could talk to each other more easily, and just talking about things that you love and being able to create something new and exciting out of that, I just was so excited when this community started coming together, and I really wanted to be a part of it. And then recently with YouTube and some things, I finally figured out how I want to be a part of it. So I wanted to say that so you understand fully what I mean when I say this is one of the first times I have been very ashamed to be called a gamer. And I hate that feeling. This is a community that I love. I watched it grow. I felt like it could do so much, and it is now failing in that. I certainly don't mean to say that everyone is doing something wrong, or that everyone is misogynistic or racist or doing these hateful things, but we are being seen that way. Look, I'm not making this video to talk to people who are on the complete other side from me, and I'm not going to try to engage with them very much because we're on completely opposite sides of an issue. You know for a fact that neither side is going to be able to convince the other, but for everyone else, for everyone who's I've seen online who says I don't want to get involved in the controversy, or it doesn't affect me, or it's just some angry teenagers yelling at things. None of that really matters at this point. It may just be some angry teenagers, it may just be a few people, but they're loud people, and they are the ones who are getting noticed outside of our community. If you stick your head out into the rest of the world and look at how the media is starting to perceive us, they're starting to perceive us as these people, as these misogynist, racist gamers who hate the world, and that's not something I want to be seen as. And I had this same kind of feeling that I didn't know what I could do. I didn't want to get involved with the controversies. I just wanted to play my games and entertain people on YouTube, and I can't just sit there and do that anymore. This is a community that I really, really love and really care about, and these people are ruining it. And maybe they aren't going to tear it apart, but they're certainly making it something that's going to be hated and something that's going to be seen as a bunch of misogynistic young white guys that just hate everything on the internet. All of these threats, all this hate speech, all this everything, people are trying to ignore it inside the community, but you can't ignore it outside. And this is how we're going to be seen. Do you really want to say in 5 years, in 2 years, that you play games and the first thing someone thinks of is like, oh, you're the one who calls the police on people for a joke, or oh, you're the guys who send hate threats to all those women? That's not how I want to be perceived. It's not how I want our community to be perceived. This community was built on people who felt like they didn't have much else, who felt excluded, who really needed a community. And I can't believe we're now trying to turn our backs on people who feel excluded and who just want to be part of something. We have the potential to do so much. Games are probably one of the greatest artistic mediums that have ever come about. The interactive nature of video games and this medium as an art form gives it the potential to explore human nature and ourselves in such a more intimate and interesting way than anything that's ever come before. And the people who are trying to do that are being attacked. And there's always going to be some controversy in art, and there's always going to be some of this pushback, but do you really want this to be how our community is perceived? That's really what it comes down to. Do you want to be able to say, I'm a gamer, and have someone immediately say that, oh, you're an anti-feminist misogynist? And I don't care if you want to call yourself a feminist or not. Do you really want to be perceived as that group of white guys who's always picking on women? I certainly don't. And I really want to do everything in my power to make sure we aren't. And thanks for watching this. I'm Gepwin, and I'll see you soon. Bye, viewers. Thanks for sitting through that. I know it got a little different and a little emotional with things, and I hope you're still watching, because I'd really like the opinion of some of my longtime viewers. This is something that I feel very strongly about, and it's something that I want to try to change. So these videos may become more of a feature, and the really thing that I want to hear from you, my supporters and the people who are already subscribed, is would you prefer these to be on a different channel? I'll take some votes. I'll try to get something on Twitter and any of the other groups that people look at, but I really want to know if you'd prefer these. If you'd really prefer these be on another channel, I'll put them there. Otherwise, they're going to be popping up from time to time, and I don't know how frequent or infrequent they're going to be. We're just going to have to see how things go and how I feel about the way things are going. But if you really would just want this channel to be gameplay, I'll keep it gameplay, and I'll move these somewhere else. And I really hope that you'll keep watching. Either way, I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone who subscribed and watches and leaves all the positive comments. It's really great, and I'm really glad that you guys have stuck around while I figure out all this stuff with where I want to be in the community and what I want my channel to turn into. So I appreciate it, and do let me know. I'm Gepwin. I'll see you soon.